Today I will be talking about my research paper that I wrote on the history of gospel music and how it has been uniquely influenced throughout its history by the media, in particular films.
Sometimes in our lives we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you.
My paper begins with a discussion on the rich and cultured history that gospel music has had since its inception in the early 18th century. I discuss how music originally was created by slaves in the fields when they were working on plantations and cotton fields. I discuss how gospel music began, with slaves using it in the fields as a way to inspire and create hope for one another, and at some points even using it as a way to encode messages to help them escape to freedom out of their slavery holds. This has then evolved into what is now today known as gospel music in many of their small worship houses and their church services and whatnot. But throughout history, it was traditionally very segregated and really restricted only to the African American community, and really didn't get much recognition, especially in the media after that. I discuss how the media and pop culture stars throughout history really brought gospel music out of just the church services for African Americans and made it a music that all people can listen to and enjoy and truly appreciate. One such example was Elvis Presley, who began singing gospel music.
In the land of cotton, old times there are not forgotten. Look away, look away.
He used his music to touch his fans even on a secular level, which did two things for the music. It allowed it to be listened to and enjoyed and appreciated by more secular audiences than strictly by Christians, and it made it okay to listen to it and to appreciate it and to even sing it if you're not an African American, which did huge leaps and bounds for the gospel music as a style. In addition to that, movies have also played a pivotal role in gospel music's history. One such example of this is Brother, Where Art Thou, which makes the use of gospel music with largely non-African American actors and also non-African American singers to create an interesting style and story elements that focused around the themes of gospel music, even in a more secular setting. This use of gospel music in movies such as this helped to propel gospel music forward outside of just the church services into more of the mainstream. Another movie example such as this is The Preacher's Wife, a movie starring Whitney Houston and Denzel Washington. Now, this movie featured an almost entirely gospel music score, which really focused around the plot of gospel music. And it was a really interesting example because this movie ended up producing a soundtrack with all the gospel music sung by Whitney Houston and the choir and everybody like that. The movie ended up producing a gospel music soundtrack that now today is the best-selling gospel album of all time, which just goes to show how powerful movies have been in making gospel music more accessible to the public and more receivable by a greater audience. Movies such as this, great pop stars like Johnny Cash and Elvis Presley, and just pop culture media in general has done worlds for gospel music to bring it out of just this small thing that began with a very specific community of people that was only listened to and sung and appreciated by those people as this big sweeping style that's practiced and performed and appreciated and studied and analyzed by people of all ethnic backgrounds and all walks of life. This is the impact that movies and the media have had on gospel music.